go ahead and get started because I think we have a few of you already in here. So my name is Cynthia Pereda, and I am the director for the National Applied AI Consortium. And I want to thank you all for being here with us today. And we're very excited to welcome Automation Anywhere, one of Forbes' 7 wonders of AI and a leader in agentic process automation. And we're very excited for this just simply because this is very unique opportunities, right? That we get to bring faculty from all across the nation so that they can be able to, one, see firsthand their AI-powered platforms and learn about their academic alliance programs and learn how colleges can be able to help give students those hands-on experiences with the latest automation tools. So again, thank you and welcome. And with that, I'm going to leave it off to Automation Anywhere.
Thank you, Cynthia. Hi, everyone. Yes, welcome in wherever you're calling from, whether it's your morning, your afternoon. I work with a lot of colleagues in India, so happy Diwali if any of you celebrate. Sometimes they join on my calls. They're always on the other side of the world, so it's always like a 12-hour difference. But in any case, yes, we're here to talk about Automation Anywhere. So we've got a great agenda for the next about 40 minutes or so, and then we'll go into Q&A. But I just want to cover the main points here, like what is Automation Anywhere? I know many of folks here are in academia. We work with a lot of academic partners around the world, but it's not everyone knows about us, right? We're very well known within the enterprise setting. So we do want to cover what is our company, what is our product, real world cases, and then we'll shift gears to what specifically our academic alliance program. So that's the program that I work on to partner with academic institutions around the world on getting automation and AI curriculum out to you. And I've got some folks here on the call with me. Maybe we'll do some quick introductions. Luis, do you want to go first?
Sure. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Luis Barcenas. I'm Vice President of AI Solutions Engineering here at Automation Anywhere, based out of Miami, Florida, and alumni as well of Miami-Dade College. So happy to be here with you all today.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Joseph Lamb. I'm a Senior Manager of Social Impact Programs, so I lead our reskilling portfolio. That includes working with workforce development organizations, nonprofits, and of course, academic institutions. We also have on the call Neeti, who's one of our co-founders. I don't know if she's still around, but if she wants to come off mute and say hi.
Just want to say hello, but we're very excited to obviously work with academia, and we have about 160 different academic institutions that we work with, and we take the responsibility of workforce development and getting ready for this new age of AI very seriously, and would love to obviously take this a bit further. And you're in great hands with Joseph.
Awesome. Thanks, CT. Neeti's very humble. She is one of our co-founders. She helped co-found the company over 20 years ago, and she's taken over as the Chief Impact Officer just a couple years ago. But with that, I'll hand it over to Louise, who will give you the introduction of Automation Anywhere.
Thank you, Joseph. All right. So we're basically a business process automation company, right? We've been focused on improving processes for multiple companies for more than 20 years. With all of that history in our backs, we've been adding a lot of AI capabilities into our product, and what we're basically helping define is what we call the future of work. And now, in this new future of work, what we see is that the experience of the new workforce and the environment will be completely transformed by AI and automation technologies, where a lot of this manual and repetitive work basically disappears so that all of us can focus on more high value activities in our day-to-day, focus on things that can actually drive society forward, right? And focus on innovation, and solving some of the most complex problems around the world. So the future of work is powered by AI and automation to release or liberate humans from this manual and tedious work. And all of this work that we've been doing for all these years is highly recognized by a lot of different important news outlets, analysts like Gartners and Forresters and others. And recently we have been recognized by Forbes as one of the 7 wonders of AI, focused specifically when it comes to accelerating mission critical work, creating a huge impact for organizations to streamline their processes, to bring a lot of efficiency, and to basically transform the way people work in their day-to-day. If you keep moving forward there, Joseph, for a moment.
Sure.
And by the way, we want to make this session interactive. If there's any questions, any comments at any point, you can also have the chat. So I'll ask Joseph to maybe just keep an eye on it and see if there's any questions. So the reality here and what we see currently in the market is AI is here to stay. I mean, I think we're all hearing about AI and automation in every news outlet, every social media report. It's all over the place, right? So, and there is a huge demand for talent right now in the market, but sadly, there's not enough talent out there to, meet this gap. And that is why definitely partnering with educational organizations like Miami-Dade College, with all of the huge diversity and presence that they have, not only around South Florida but across other different states and partnerships, it's really valuable and interesting to us, so that together we can help fill this talent gap that is currently existing in the market. AI has become one of the most critical and fundamental skills that we're going to see coming in the next few years for the new graduates. And what we're seeing right now, and you might hear something like this, is there is this general fear that AI is going to eliminate all of our jobs and so on. But in reality, what we see is that a person that knows how to use AI will probably will be replacing a person that does not how to use AI and tools like this, right? So educating and making everyone available to understand and interact with these technologies becomes very, very critical, right? So there's a huge opportunity for talent out there in this new age. Then I think, Joseph, we have a small video there that maybe
Yep.
we want to show.
Just before we go to that, I do want to make 3 points that are really relevant just for the faculty and the admins from the academic partners here. One is just around AI skilling, right? So I talk to my partners and just folks across industry talking about how AI skilling is extremely important for the future of work. I'm sure you've all been hearing the same sentiments. When it comes to AI skilling, right, when we think about the job titles that these students are going to be getting, a lot of these jobs don't exist yet, or they're to be created. There's not a one-to-one sort of like AI admin, AI curriculum to AI admin. So if that everyone is focusing on AI literacy sort of broadly, with Automation Anywhere, it's a lot more vocational specific around workplace automation. So when we think about titles or sort of roles that folks can go into from this education is AI product management, data operations, business process analysis, prompt engineering, citizen developers. We also have folks who do upskilling and reskilling for folks in our curriculum who go into all sorts of different IT positions or business analysis positions. The kind of world in which we are moving towards is where everyone's going to need AI skilling. And so again, it's just around employer expectations. So you've been hearing about how people want AI talent, right? So you'll see on the graph here, a lot of job postings are now requiring some AI literacy, AI competency. Around sort of the curriculum that we offer is very much focused around actual workplace skills. And the third is just around stackable learning. So you've been hearing about everyone putting out AI literacy education. A lot of it's sort of being washed as it's a lot of the same content, right? But you can think about it as AI skill stacking. And so you'll see skills being developed with us, Automation Anywhere, skills with other partners that you may see like Google or AWS. All of it is really just to combine to make the student as prepared as possible for this future of work. And this is really what makes it great for community colleges, boot camps, workforce programs, is that because these are all skill-based competencies, they all stack on top of each other. And then the sort of last note I want to say is what we're seeing across the job market is that initially a lot of companies are looking for data scientists, data engineering roles. Now that we're kind of moving towards past just general AI or Gen AI, we're looking at folks looking more at how do we actually implement AI into the workforce. And so you're going to see a lot more automation engineers, AI operations architects, machine learning operations becoming a lot more visible within the job market. And with that, we've got a quick video. It's a little sizzle reel, and it's only about 45 seconds, but let me play it. All right, back to you,
All
Louis.
right, great stuff. Thank you, Joseph. Yeah, so basically, I'll give you a quick overview then, a little bit more about the technology, the platform that we offer. So, Automation Anywhere is a product company. We basically develop, it's a product that allows companies to automate a lot of these repetitive and manual processes. And like we've been mentioning at the beginning, we've been in existence for more than 20 years. And we started as a company that created this category called Robotics Process Automation, or RPA. And this is a technology that, from its creation, was focused on automating processes that have very strict set of rules, can handle structured data, and you can repeat this thing over and over, right, for any type of process. But this technology, had its own limits because it was not smart enough. It couldn't make decisions. It was not adaptable. It couldn't handle unstructured information like voice, audio, and others. And so the scope and impact, or the types of processes that this technology could handle, was very limited. Maybe between 30 to 40% of tasks within an organization could be handled or automated with this technology. What we're doing now with the rise of AI, generative AI, LLM models, and other technologies alike, is that we're creating a new category, which is what we call agentic process automation. Now, the big difference with this technology is that we can now inject a lot of cognitive capabilities into these automated workflows. These workflows can now make decisions, can analyze unstructured information, can reason, can detect intent, sentiment, can have a conversation with the users, right? And so what that means now is that we can automate much more complex processes that were not possible before because of these cognitive human skills that we can basically inject into these automations. And what this allows the companies to do is to then achieve this level of what we call the autonomous enterprise, where 80% of your processes, are completely autonomous, meaning that can be handled by this type of technology. And you can think about any process from a customer service to finance and accounting to customer onboarding and many other things. Imagine that these things can be now automated thanks to this technology. And there is a massive market opportunity for this. There's a 4 trillion plus opportunity in the market that we're going after, with these different types of technology. So there's a lot of space for growth. There's a lot of appetite for technologies like this. And we're seeing it across the board from the top 100 companies, looking for technologies like this to be added into their environment. If we move forward there, Joseph, for a moment. Then this is basically what this technology is enabling. It's enabling different capabilities for organizations, from strategic to operational. Because when you free up your people, when you liberate the workforce from this manual repetitive work, you can concentrate more on revenue growth, right? These technologies can help you sell better, faster, can help you save cost, can help you improve your cash flow, have a positive impact on environmental and social impact as well. We work with multiple companies where, because of the savings that they're generating from these programs, they can now allocate this to a lot of different social impact to reskill or upskill, less privileged communities, right? And when we have this, also helps us accelerate innovation. You have more people thinking about very complex problems that can now be tackled because there's more time available in the organization. And if you think about operational benefits, we can do things faster, but faster it's great, but having a better outcome every time you do a process, with this technology has a bigger impact for organizations. So just to give you an example, if you're a bank, for example, right, and you're processing a loan for an applicant, it's not just about processing that loan faster, but it's also determining the right risk factor, capturing the right information from the user so that the bank can also help mitigate any potential risk and basically delivering a better outcome and a better experience for your customers. So this type of technologies allows us to do things faster and better, is what I will say. And it ranges from multiple places, from customer experience to employee experience to the simplification of the technology stack for organization and reduce the different risk and adhere to compliance for a lot of companies. So that's why they're heavily investing in all of these, because there's a lot of benefits that AI plus automation is bringing to the table. If we continue there, Joseph, to the next slide, then here's a little bit of a general overview of what agentic process automation is from a slightly technological point of view. What agentic process automation really is, it's basically a framework that is fueled by our platform that help us orchestrate different types of technologies. We call these bots. This could be simple programs that can do very simple things. We also have different APIs that help us integrate with any system out there. That could be a modern system or like a really legacy green screen type of application. It also helps us combine technologies that help us interpret documents using document automation technologies. And we're talking about complex documents like engineering documents, contracts, explanation of benefits, and others. Now these are handwritten documents. Now these are possible to be extracted and interpreted to these thanks to these technologies. Also combine things like AI agents. And AI agents are a new field in the automation world, which basically combines artificial intelligence with automation. So the artificial intelligence can make decisions, can create plans, can execute actions to achieve a particular objective. So AI agents is also a brand new thing, I will say, in the automation space, which is generating a lot of impact across the board. And also people, right? We also need to involve the entire human workforce in this new framework. Because now, even though you have a lot of these different things automated, you still need the human in the loop. You still need people. People that can govern, that can oversee, that can review, that can approve certain activities that are happening, even though the process is automated. And this is critical, especially in the early days of AI, in which we are today, because there's still a lot of concerns when it comes to data privacy, bias, and many other things that might still go wrong with some of the AI systems. Having the right controls and the right governance is by involving the right people within the process. And so we combine all of these different components to focus on solving very complex and mission-critical business processes for our customers. We can inject a high level of autonomy into any process the customer wants us to focus, and do this in real time with the right governance and scalability. And here's just an example that you see here below. If you think about something like order fulfillment, from the moment that the order is received, we can extract the data, we can connect to multiple systems to check inventories, we can use AI agents to make a determination if the customer is in good standing because of debts or payments, etc. Involve the warehouse manager or the human in the loop whenever it's needed to handle any particular exceptions, and then trigger the downstream process to then effectively just process an order very, very quickly. This is a very common process for us, and we see this from multiple manufacturing companies that have to connect a large array of different systems and still meeting the high demand from their customers, right? So we can combine what we call deterministic activities with cognitive tasks and therefore solve very complex problems. So if we keep going there. So here's also some high-level benefits of adding agentic process automation into an organization, right? So like I mentioned earlier in the previous slides, we created this category called RPA, or robotic process automation. And a lot of this technology was used in the back office to do some manual rules-based processes, right? It was focused on tasks, like a task could be like, help me classify these documents, or help me do data entry, or help me process some invoices into the system, right? A lot of that technology was used for that. But it helped us set the ground when it comes to creating a platform that allowed a lot of our customers to achieve massive success and to gain a lot of experience in the automation world. And so what we're doing with this is taking that experience and that foundation into this new agentic process automation technology. And so here we see, we interact with a lot of different personas across our customers, from business leaders to IT to business analysts and others. And here's where we see a lot of the opportunities, I will say, for new graduates or new people that are coming into the workforce that are coming with this knowledge on what AI can do and how can AI be deployed across the organization. Yeah. And we see this also from customers. There's a lot of appetite to do more with AI, but they struggle to also find the right expertise, the right knowledge, the right talent to help them scale these programs. And that's where companies like us come in to not only, position product or technology, but also educate them and guide them as to how to do this in the right way, do it in a responsible and scalable way. It becomes very critical, right? So wanted to highlight that here because we see this very often. Lots of demand, lots of interest, but very few people actually know how to do this today at scale. Joseph, you wanted to comment something there?
Oh, no, I'm good. Keep going.
All right. So, and when you're working with automation anywhere, you're working with one of the leaders in this sector, right? I mean, we partner with multiple educational institutions. We have a large array of very repeatable customers across the globe, actually. My history at Automation Anywhere here, I've been at this company for almost 8 years. I started working for the Latin American market. So I travel all of Latin America, meeting with the largest companies in Latin America, from companies like Petrobras, Cemex, and many others, where they're deploying this technology at scale. And this is what basically the reason why we're able to work with all of these amazing companies is because of our innovation and our DNA in innovation, right? We continue to innovate and drive new products constantly. Every 3 to 4 months, there's new stuff from our product being released, new updates. And this is what keeps us very relevant in this highly competitive space. We have also a large array of, like I mentioned, very repeatable customers across multiple industries. We have also made it very simple for our customers to deploy this by introducing solutions. And for us, the customer experience is fundamental and it's the most important thing, right? So this is a well-established company is what I want to basically summarize this with. We would love to partner with you on taking this type of knowledge and upskilling across Miami-Dade College and help others like myself also be successful in this space and achieve a great impact across the board.
Awesome. Luis, maybe just for time's sake, do you mind if we just go and switch over to Academic Alliance program and talk about that section? I can take over that for the next 20 minutes or
Sure,
so.
please.
Awesome. All right, folks. So if you missed our agenda earlier, we just did an overview of automation anywhere in our technology. This is the real meat of where it's taking all that knowledge we just talked about, the workforce, AI, agentic, where that's headed in the enterprise space, and taking it back to your mission to educate students, get them prepared for the future of work. And so I think one thing that really resonated with me is that our CEO has said is that he did a demo earlier this summer. He said, this is the worst it'll ever be. So from here on out, AI is just going to get even more advanced, right? And so when we think about AI skilling, that's really what my team is really focused on here. One is that we recognize that AI and automation is changing the landscape for work and job seekers. So everyone across the space is really thinking about that right now. For us, we've committed to different forums, various factions, but one is the World Economic Forum's Reskilling Revolution. The main mission of this is to help prepare communities for the future of work. And so where we're looking at with our program here is, again, these 4 points I mentioned earlier. One is folks are looking at skill-based hiring nowadays. It's less about sort of degrees as it used to be, but now it's more about skill sets. And especially as it comes to AI skilling, there's various different forms of AI that folks should be learning. Automation is a very big core competency. The second is just the curriculum that we have to offer through Automation Anywhere is very stackable and career ready. So we work with partners all over the world who are implementing our curriculum and taking it out to their students' community so they can actually prepare for these future jobs as well. And then I think one really big point I want to make is that we want to make this technology and sort of the ability to use it towards job seeking as inclusive and as accessible as possible. And that's part of the big reasons why we want to work at academic institutions, especially community colleges, given that you work with a much larger swath of the community than, let's say, a traditional four-year school. So I just have a couple logos here. These are of universities we do have active partnership with. As Niti mentioned at the beginning, we work with over 140 institutions globally. So these are all folks who are using automation and teaching automation to their students. As I mentioned, one of the pros of working with community colleges is that it is such an accessible entry point for higher education. And the folks who work in community colleges are very responsive to workforce needs, right? And so when we want to work with community colleges, we're working to get these skill sets out to the community so they can themselves use it and use the levers of AI and harness AI for humanity. I just on this front, maybe one example here I want to highlight is we've been working with the University of California, Santa Cruz, Silicon Valley Extension. We're working with their continuing education for professionals. What they're doing is they have sort of an AI program that includes many different core competencies of AI. We're working with them right now to include a component just around automation. So we're seeing in real time, many different programs are incorporating this sort of skill set into their curriculum. So when it comes to our academic alliance program, there's four main components that would benefit folks who partner with us. One is access to frontier technologies. And so this is just around our platform, Automation 360. We have a version of it called Community Edition that we've subsidized and made it free for learners, academic partners, students, etc. It is not quite the enterprise level that we have for companies, but it is completely sufficient to learn, train on, do hands-on training, and you see a lot of small, medium businesses and nonprofits use this version as well. The second is course material. So this is really the big benefit for the folks on the call who are working in academia. So we have a platform called Automation Anywhere, Automation Anywhere Universe, excuse me, where we have on-demand learning, but we also have for academic partners live instruction, classroom materials. The third is around scholarships for certification. So as you can imagine, many different companies have different certification exams. We also have a set of three that we work with as well. We do shell out a certain percentage of those to be free of cost to academic partners. And then the fourth is hands-on learning and computer labs. This is a special feature for academic partners who have classroom setups. And so I'll get into that in detail in a second. But just in terms of benefits for our partners here, again, those are the 4 points I made earlier. But one is in terms of technology, it really is hands-on. You can go and practice, make bots or automations rather, and really understand all the latest features that are even touching our enterprise customers. Scholarships, again, I think this has been one of the best value adds for academic partners as they roll out programs for the students and then they get them to actually get certified. So if you think about it as like a carrot, right? If you have them going through different curriculum, the end goal is that they get the certification. And then the last point here is just around industry collaboration. We work with, as I said, partners all over the world. It's for us a really great partnership in that we also get to work with academic partners, but sometimes we even have opportunities for them to come to the office. We do sort of student events. So it's always a great partnership just to foster the next generation on that front. So digging a little bit deeper into the technology, as I mentioned, it's the Community Edition version of our software. It's a cloud native. It's run on browser. We actually this summer just released the automations to be able to run on Mac OS. So now students and users are able to run automations both on Windows and Mac. Even within the platform, there's step-by-step product learning. I myself have gone through certification for advanced, and it's all top notch. I think even as someone who works not in a technical role, it's been incredibly useful for me to understand and build these core competencies. This is probably the most important part for the folks on the call. This is curriculum, right? So we, as I mentioned earlier, we have a platform called Automation in your university. This is our learning management system. So this is on-demand, self-paced, immersive learning. The genesis of this is it actually was a enterprise benefit for customers to upskill and reskill their own employees. What we've done in the social impact initiatives is that we've invested for this platform to be free of charge for the public and for academic institutions and students. And so you'll see folks are able to come on and learn this from anywhere around the world. Like as I mentioned, I've myself gone through a certification, but there it is either there's piecemeal courses that folks can do on demand, or you can even go through learning paths that are based on vocation and role. I've got some examples here. So just examples of courses that you'll see. The community team who leads this work stream, they are constantly adding new curriculum. So you see in the left here, these are all sort of beginner intro classes, everything from sequences, sort of thinking like a developer, thinking like a coder, all the way through to advanced. And you'll see on the right side, the right half, these are brand new courses on agentic process automation, things around AI like prompt engineering, analyzing sentiment with AI agents. So the curriculum is constantly being updated just to meet the needs of both our enterprise customers and folks learning the skill set. Here's a screenshot just of the on-demand portal. As I mentioned, Automation in our university, we have a couple different tracks where folks are able to go and like learn all the way through to a learning path. So you'll see that on the left, and then the right. All of the on-demand learning is through video. There's captions accessible. We have captions for Spanish, Portuguese, Japanese as well. And it's, like I said, it's constantly being updated. It's great material. Folks will typically go through it, pause it, do it on their own on sort of a separate screen or work through it. And so it's very hands-on. For students, right? So as I mentioned, there's different learning paths. And so when we have students typically go through this with different academic partners or workforce development organizations, they can either implement the curriculum in full or sort of in pieces. Typically what we see is we have the students will go through to get advanced certification, but we have other partners who just have their students go through essential certification. So it's really depending on the needs of your students and how you set up your curriculum. That's kind of going to determine how you want to think about implementing this curriculum. There are, as I mentioned, a couple different career sets. And so when we think about certification, if students say are going through from start all the way through to essential certification, it's about 7 hours of instruction time. So that's series you see here 1 and 2. And folks are going through advanced, it's about 14 hours instruction time. That's excluding any practice time that folks have. And that's about 14 hours. So that's series 1, 2, and 4. Because again, this is all for the on-demand online learning. For academic partners, what we've actually have released this last summer is access to teaching materials for live teaching. And you'll see that that's kind of listed under here as self-guided learning resources. It's so what how do I show this? It is very, very comprehensive. So what we see partners do is we have a full set of resources. It's teaching guides, it's comprehensive packets, business case studies. The material is really turnkey for you to already make a full-blown automation and AI course, or you can take different components of it and build it into existing classes that you have. So I mentioned earlier, one of the partners we're working with, they have an AI certificate. And in that, they are building out an automation and AI component. And so they're taking our curriculum and building that into, it's about like a sort of a mini master sort of situation. So it'll be 2 separate classes. But of course, we've had other partners who actually just take this curriculum and build it into existing classes they've had. The next point I want to get to is just the scholarships. Again, this is a really great value add for academic partners. So what we do is we typically offer around to initially 40 scholarships for new academic partners who work with us to roll out to students as they go through the curriculum. Again, it's very much like a carrot, right? We don't want to be, I guess ideally we wouldn't want to be skilling folks without them getting the certificate so that they can then show it to prospective employers and then through their CV as well. I just have some stats here at the bottom. There are 3 levels of certification. There's essentials, advanced, and master. So what we've done is we've actually supplemented Essentials to be free for anyone. So that is, again, earlier when I said about 7 hours instruction time. Once you go through those 7 hours of curriculum, you then go do Essential certification. The next level up is Advanced Cert and then Master. And so with Advanced, it's typically, I think, $80 fee. That's where the scholarships come into play for academic partners. We roll out about 40 to start with for academic partners to give out to their students. And then if students, this is students and faculty. So if you have trainers or faculty on staff who actually want to go through, they can also use these scholarships. Beyond that, master certification is the next level up. It's I got a slide here on just the requirements. The master, so I myself have gone through advanced certification. It's not just like a fake certification. It is very real, very industry recognized. It's tough. Like you actually have to know the material. So the first time I took advanced cert, I didn't pass, and so I had to retake it and then review material. But for a master, one note I want to say here is that it's both an exam and a build. So you will have to submit I believe, two automations within 2 weeks of taking the exam. So it gets graded after you submit those in. And this is the last point around the special sort of features that we have for academic partners. So on-prem university training labs. If your institution has a computer lab on campus, we can work with your IT team and get you 15 limited use on-prem enterprise grade licenses. So just to go back a little bit, as I mentioned, Automation Anywhere is cloud native. To access Automation Anywhere, you go to a browser and you access it from there. You can run automations locally on your computer, right? If you're having the platform access different data on your computer. But in order to run automations that go across different systems, you will need to kind of have either your IT team work to allow these students to get access to different platforms, or you have an on-prem training lab. Luis, do you have any more kind of context to add about this and how exactly on-prem licenses work?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, it's very straightforward. I mean, reality is just you need a couple of servers just to stand up the entire platform, and that is specifically for the control room feature. Things like creator and unattended runners can run on laptops or virtual machines or even the computers at the lab. So that is very easy to deploy. It's very lightweight. So students can get access to build and run uh, agents or automations actually very, very quickly. This is like a couple of minute type of setup. Everything is web-based from the development of the bots to like the integrations and so forth. Everything happens on a browser. So it's a web-first type of experience, and it's something that can be easily deployed, of course, collaborating with your IT departments to make sure everything is set up and is secure and so on, right?
Awesome, thank you. And then sort of the last feature, I don't have a slide specifically about this, but part of our community team is that they do run a community called Pathfinder. And so you can imagine it's a forum online where all kinds of users from all over the world post different questions. They get answers from other community users. The community team is very, very robust. They do a lot of programming. So they do both in-person meets, virtual meets. Their mission is to go and meet users from around the world and make sure they have a foster community to help them grow within their automation anywhere journey. And so this is just a plug for our upcoming Pathfinder event, which is next month. It's our largest global community event. It's a 2-day virtual event. It's free. So I'd love to get you all some information on signing up for this if you would like to attend. But this year we'll be focusing on agentic process automation and setting the stage for this new era of work. And so I think we hear from a lot of our customers who have been with us for years, right? They've started first with robotic process automation. Now everyone is thinking about agentic AI and how to get agentic process automation into their own enterprise settings or within their own sort of teaching and learning environment. And so we'll be running a great program around that next month. Maybe we can go back now. I see we have a little bit of time, so I want to give two real world examples of our customers that Luis had some prep earlier. So give me 1 second. All right, these are the names you might recognize. Luis, do you want to take over for the next two slides?
Yeah, sure. So I can explain this a little bit more. So Eletrobras is a Brazilian utility company. They're in the energy sector. They have if you're in South Florida, then you probably know FPL. So they're very similar to FPL here in South Florida. They're a utilities company for energy in Brazil. And basically they have a lot of infrastructure, power plants and so on, laying across multiple places in Brazil. And one of the big challenges they have was around the compliance risk and regulatory reviews. So when you're in that particular industry, every time you make some enhancements or new constructions or improvements into these different plants, it's heavily audited and regulated, right? Even if you move a fire hydrant from location, it needs to be documented and captured into multiple systems because this eventually is audited by the regulatory entities. So one of the big challenges this company had was that they had all these complex engineering documents that had to be analyzed, reviewed to understand what, when, and who changed something into these different plans so that all of that information then eventually gets reported back to the regulatory authorities, right? And this was a manual effort that was done by engineers and architects and it was again manual, repetitive, and so basically what we did with this technology with agentic process automation is that we can identify the documents that need to be reviewed. We can classify and read the information from these engineering documents, find potential discrepancies, and raise those discrepancies to a human in the loop, take those recommendations and then add and create the proper reports for the regulatory authorities later on. So this basically is reduced the entire effort for them around 90%. So imagine going from hours and hours, thousands of hours basically every year to dedicated to this particular task to 90% effort reduction. This basically is equivalent to 10,000 hours as you see here in the document. And this only took us 2 weeks to implement. And so this is the type of impact that we're talking about when we say liberating human potential, removing the manual activities. And this is just one use case.
Yeah. Yeah, let's open up for Q&A. I don't know if folks have any questions or if they're curious about anything. I see. Oh, okay. We've got some questions coming in chat. Feel free to also, I don't know if they folks come off mute, but I think if you are able to do, feel free to also chime in over audio. First one, what are operational technology use cases for the manufacturing industry? Luis, this one is for you.
Sure. Yeah, so we have actually several. And so the power of our platform is that we can basically integrate with any technology out there. And I mean literally any technology out there. And that could be from even sensors. We can talk about IoT sensors, right? Where you have maybe a manufacturing plant and you have different thresholds or sensors regarding the operation and the machinery and so on. So I'll give you an example a problem that we recently solved for an oil and gas company, specialized in drilling. So basically what happens is that when you're drilling the ground for oil, sometimes, the drill might just have an error, right? A misoperation. And this has a lot of different sensors and data that is constantly being collected. So what our technology was able to do there for that particular customer was to basically prevent or predict when something wrong could happen before it happened. In this industry, whenever you stop the extraction of oil, every hour can cost the customer hundreds, if not millions of dollars of non-production time. So we have a lot of experience in manufacturing in multiple spaces. And David, I would love to talk more if you want. But we have different integrations and different use cases for that.
All right. Second question I see from Matthew. Matthew says he's at Washington State Public Community College, offers associate degree in data analytics and bachelor's degree in software development. They're looking to incorporate AI content in their existing degrees instead of creating new AI-focused degrees. and they're looking at how agentic AI may improve administrative processes. Do you have any clients who are structurally similar that may be willing to discuss how they've participated or benefit from working with you? If they're located in Washington State, so much the better. So we have a huge repository and resource on our website, Matthew, of case studies, use cases of actual real life companies. So those are all available publicly. I can have that sent as a link afterwards with the rest of the resourcing. In terms of so are you, Matthew, are you asking specifically if they would come and speak with your students? If that's a little bit of a different case, but in the case of sort of curriculum and content, we have plenty of that we can share over.
Yeah, thanks. And I really appreciate this presentation. I mean, I ask a question because I think in my experience, it's often beneficial for an institution like mine to be able to sort of see how similar institutions are incorporating this, just to kind of move it from like the theoretical to the practical. And so, anything like that, I think, can go a long way, even if we don't follow exactly the same,
Yeah.
process. It's
I'll
still
give
kind of
you
a proof of concept, right?
Yeah, I'll give you a 2 minute kind of journey, typical journey, how we see this. So typically when we start working with an organization, this could be in the private sector or educational sector. Typically it begins with awareness, right? It's like, okay, so what is this technology? Can we just broadcast that this technology is available in the organization, right? What does the technology do? What are the problems that it solves, right? And then on top of that, what we have is also like an evangelization or educational session to say, these are the capabilities of the technology. Whoever wants to participate and be part of this new initiative, please sign up and we'll give you access to the tools, we'll give you enablement, we'll give you, how far do you want to go with the knowledge, right? Like level 100 to 300, right? I mean, it's up to everyone to decide how deep they want to go. And then after you have trained or educated a certain amount of people, then you conduct a lot of these workshops or botathons or hackathons, right? Where you are now basically asking the community to come up with new ideas and innovate and propose and suggest, right? And that's when a lot of these, cool concepts start to come up. And typically what happens is that you're going to have a lot of different ideas that your steering committee or your automation center of excellence can then decide and choose which ones are the best ideas to take into production, or which ones should we invest on. And we typically do this type of Shark Tank, scenario, right, where people pitch the idea and they try to sell it to you, and then you decide to invest or not. So, and then after that, it's reaping the benefits, right? I mean, what is the benefit of deploying this and the ROI and so on. So it's a 2-3 minute explanation. I hope maybe that helps, but it's a typical journey that we see.
Yeah, thank you. That is very helpful.
Awesome. We also have, so on sort of the line of academic partners and how that might help with their own administrative processes. For example, we have a really large, both academic partner and customer of our software, RMIT in Australia. It's a big university there. They have been really great about implementing both the curriculum for their students as well as using the technology within their own settings at the university to improve academic or sort of the administrative processes. And so we're actually working with them currently on getting a white paper out soon. So that might be of interest to you whenever we do release that. All right. Yeah. Any other questions from folks?
And please feel free to come off mute if you have any questions.
I'll also share, as Cynthia mentioned earlier, we'll have the recording, the slides, any other resources that we have will be shared up after the webinar. I'll provide my email address as well, so that if you have any other follow-up questions, you can, of course, reach out to me. And if you're interested in getting into our Academic Alliance program, very, very happy to talk to you to see how you can get you all these resources.
Great. Okay, with that, I think that if there are no more questions, I'll go ahead and we can close off a little bit early, give everybody back, 8 more minutes. So I wanted to say thank you again to Automation Alliance and Automation Anywhere. And this was an amazing presentation, and we do appreciate the partnership. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Have a great
Thank you all.
afternoon.